Close your eyes and picture a classic passenger airplane. You are likely imagining a long, cylindrical tube with wings jutting from the sides and a massive tail fin rising in the rear. This iconic silhouette has defined the skies for nearly a century, becoming the ultimate symbol of 20th century aviation.
But what if everything we knew about aircraft design was a mistake?
What if the airplanes of tomorrow look nothing like the jets we see today? The truth is, the modern airplane is a massive compromise. That familiar tube we all board is actually an aerodynamic liability. It creates drag without generating any lift, essentially acting as dead weight being pulled through the air. This inefficiency is costing us a fortune. Today, aviation is responsible for approximately 2.5% of global carbon dioxide emissions.
For the airlines, the math is even more terrifying.
Fuel accounts for 30 to 40% of their total operating costs, and those prices are climbing every single year. We are forcing outdated shapes to do a modern job, and the planet is paying the price. It is time for a radical bridge to the future. From the heart of the Netherlands comes a vision so radical, it makes every other jet on the tarmac look like a fossil. This is the FlyingV. Born from a high-stakes collaboration between the Dutch airline KLM and the brilliant minds at the Delft University of Technology, this isn't just a new plane, it is a total reimagining of flight. Look at it. The traditional tube is gone, replaced by a massive, continuous V-shaped structure. In this revolutionary design, the fuselage, the wings, and the tail are forged into one single lifting body. Every piece of the puzzle, the 314 passengers, the heavy cargo, and the massive fuel tanks, is housed directly inside the wings themselves. It is a bold gamble that could change everything. Why take such a risk? Because the physics are undeniable. In a standard jet, the fuselage is nothing more than a giant passenger pipe that drags through the air, contributing zero lift while burning through precious fuel. But with the FlyingV, every square inch of the aircraft's surface helps keep it in the sky. This integrated design turns the entire body into a lifting surface, slashing air resistance and promising a staggering 20% reduction in fuel consumption compared to the ultra-modern Airbus A350. The engineering genius doesn't stop with the shape. By distributing the fuel and cargo across the entire span of the V shape, engineers have solved one of aviation's oldest problems, wing bending. Because the weight is spread out, the structural loads are balanced, allowing for a lighter, stiffer, and more efficient airframe. Even the engines have been forced into a new position. Mounted at the rear and tucked into the upper flow of the wing, they are shielded from the air, further boosting aerodynamics while significantly muffling the roar of the jet for those on the ground and inside. Step inside, and you'll realize you aren't in a cramped tube anymore. You are in a vast, celestial room. Because the cabin follows the wide, tapering contour of the wings, it expands to a massive 12 meters at its widest point. It feels more like a luxury train or a high-end lounge than an airplane. The layout is revolutionary, with wide aisles and a flexible seating arrangement that could see passengers sitting in social groups facing one another. But here is the most exciting part. The V-shape creates so much exterior surface area that nearly every single traveler could have a window seat. No more staring at a plastic wall for 10 hours. This is a bridge to a future where long-haul travel isn't just about the destination, but about a human, breathtaking experience in a cabin that finally breathes. This isn't just a collection of pretty renders or a designer's flight of fancy. In the summer of 2020, the dream met reality on a runway in Germany. The team from Delft and KLM finally sent their vision into the sky. It wasn't a full-size giant yet, but a meticulously crafted scale model with a 3-meter wingspan. Weighing in at roughly 22.5 kilograms, this 50-kilogram class test drone became the ultimate proof of concept. Controlled by a specialized pilot, the machine accelerated down the tarmac and lifted off at just 50 kilometers per hour. The tension was palpable, but the results were undeniable. The calculated flight speeds and angles matched the computer simulations almost perfectly. It wasn't a flawless victory. Engineers had to scramble to fix the center of gravity and an antenna issue, and they noticed a slight wobble during landing, known as a Dutch roll. But the fundamental physics held true. The FlyingV could fly. The success of that small model ignited a fire across the industry. This radical rethink of the airplane quickly became a global collaboration, pulling in heavyweights like Airbus and the engine masters at Pratt & Whitney. They all realized that changing the shape of the wing is a mission of international proportions.
Today, the project is moving through a multi-decade timeline that started with its official initiation in 2009.
We have seen the first model flights, and the world is now watching for the construction of a full-scale prototype. But the ambition goes even further than a new shape. The FlyingV is being designed as a flexible platform for the green revolution. The plan is a progressive transition. First, flying on synthetic kerosene, and eventually a radical shift to pure hydrogen. This isn't a lonely pursuit either. Airbus is pushing its own boundaries with the Maverick demonstrator, a blended wing body design that also promises a 20% gain in fuel efficiency. We are witnessing a revolutionary arms race, a frantic scramble to define how humanity will cross the oceans in the next century. The era of the tube and wing is facing its greatest challenge, and the partners behind the FlyingV are betting billions that the future is V-shaped.
The economic reality of the sky is brutal.
Fuel prices are a constant, rising shadow over every airline on the planet, often devouring 30 to 40% of an entire corporate budget. But the FlyingV isn't just a design exercise. It is a cold, calculated strike against those rising costs. By slashing fuel consumption by 20%, this aircraft promises a massive, transformative leap in profitability. Imagine the impact. 20% less kerosene burned means 20% fewer carbon dioxide emissions choking our atmosphere. It is a rare double victory for both the balance sheet and the planet.
This efficiency opens up a radical new world of operations.
Because the engines are tucked away and shielded by the massive wing, the noise footprint on the ground is drastically reduced. This isn't just a comfort feature. Quieter planes mean airlines could win more flight slots at noise-sensitive airports, potentially replacing two roaring giants like the Airbus A380 with three quieter, ultra-efficient V-shaped machines. We are looking at a future where we can move more people with a significantly smaller environmental footprint, shifting the scales from heavy aviation diesel towards sustainable aviation fuels and revolutionary electric propulsion. But the path to this revolutionary future is paved with terrifying challenges. You cannot simply build a plane without a traditional fuselage and expect it to fly into service tomorrow. The giants of regulation, like the Federal Aviation Administration and the European Union Aviation Safety Agency, are built on decades of experience with traditional tubes and wings. For them, safety is the absolute non-negotiable law. How do you certify a radical shape that throws every existing rulebook out the window? The questions are piling up. Engineers must prove that this V-wing can be safely evacuated in an emergency, that its fire suppression systems are flawless, and that it can remain controllable even if a massive engine fails on one side. During initial testing, the model even showed a tendency for a rhythmic, swaying motion known as the Dutch roll, a stability issue that must be conquered before a single passenger steps on board. For the pilots, the cockpit is a foreign world with a non-standard interface that will require a total rethink of flight training. Even the most seasoned captains might look at this radical bird and feel a sense of deep uncertainty. We are asking the industry to abandon a century of certainty for a $35 billion gamble in the desert of innovation.
It is a high-stakes play where the bureaucracy of safety meets the urgency of a changing climate.
If the FlyingV can prove it is safe, it won't just compete with the giants, it will leave them in the past. Despite the mountain of challenges and the skeptics in the hangars, the FlyingV is far more than just a beautiful piece of digital art. It is a potential beacon for the next generation of travelers. Imagine looking out from a cabin that follows the very curve of the wing, watching the sunset over a carpet of clouds, from a seat that feels like a front-row ticket to the future. This is an idea that doesn't just tweak the edges of aviation, it fundamentally changes the very shape of how we move through the world. We are looking toward a horizon where the year 2040 could mark the launch of the first commercial V-liner. This isn't just about saving money for airlines. It is about the survival of the industry in a world where climate headlines dominate our screens every single day. The FlyingV is being built as a radical bridge to the future, a platform designed from the ground up for total electrification and the power of hydrogen. It represents a clean break from the 100-year-old tradition of the metal tube. When you see this silver boomerang slicing through the sky, you aren't just looking at a machine. You are looking at a revolutionary gamble that says the best days of flight are still ahead of us. We are finally moving past the 21st century's reliance on outdated silhouettes and into a bold, sustainable era where the sky is no longer a limit, but a destination. The future is coming, and it has a brand new shape.